Hello everyone, this is Lisa with Old Orchid Yarnery. I'm here to demonstrate the block party crochet block for the month of May to you. We're going to be doing this pattern called Flower Burst. Here's my completed square already. To show you some of these stitches and get you familiar with the pattern, I'm going to start another one. Here's my three colors I'm using. This is Sueño by Haiku. And for this one, for the demonstration, I'm going to use a different color sequence. We're going to make the center green. All right, so according to the pattern, we're going to go ahead and start, of course, with a slip knot. Now it tells you at the beginning of the pattern you're using 3 colors of worsted weight yarn and an H hook or size needed for gauge. Remember, as I say each month, you're going to use the yarn that you've chosen for your patterns, and you're going to use the appropriate hook size to get the size that you need. That may or may not be worsted weight yarn. It may or may not be a size H. For me, I'm using a DK weight yarn, the Sueño by Haiku, and I'm using a size H crochet hook, a 5mm. That's just what I've been using for each of mine, and I've gotten a consistent size. So start with slip knot, and now we're going to start with round 1. We're going to chain 4 and join with slip stitch to form a ring. 4 and join with a slip stitch. So you go into that very first chain, pull the yarn through, and pull the yarn through again. So here's my ring that I'm now going to crochet into. That's a very typical way to start a pattern like this that's worked from the inside out, like a granny square or this type of a pattern. I'm going to show you an alternative way to start, the way I like to do it a little better. But again, we're going to, rather than start with the slip knot, we're going to start with what's sometimes called a magic circle. So I've got the tail of the yarn in the center of my hand, draped over my fingers with the tail of the yarn facing me. I'm going to use 2 fingers like this, and I'm going to wrap the yarn around, and I'm going to let it cross over. See, it forms that X right there on my fingers. And now I'm just going to kind of secure it with my pinky here because I want to keep a little tension. So here's the tail. All I've done is wrap it around, let it cross over, and now I'm securing it. So now I'm going to reach under that first one with my hook and grab this second strand. It's a little awkward, but it's not too bad. And now I'm going to come around because I want to do a chain with that yarn that I'm securing with my pinky. There. So here's my magic circle. I'm going to crochet into it, and then as I pull this tail, it will close and tighten. Okay, let me show you that one more time. I've got the tail of the yarn in my palm facing me. I'm going to hold here with my thumb just so I can turn my fingers, and I'm going to wrap this yarn up and over, taking the yarn I'm wrapping closer to my hand so that it forms this X, crosses over that first yarn. I'm going to reach under the first one and grab the second one, and then I'm going to come around and I'm going to do a chain, 1 chain, and then I'm going to let it drop off my fingers. So right here is where we're going to do our single crochets. So where the pattern says chain 4, join with a slip stitch to form ring, chain 3, 13 double crochets in the ring. So this is your ring. So we're going to chain 3 at this point. We already chained 1, so let's chain 2 more. So there's our ring with the 3 chains, and now 13 double crochets in the ring. So I find that it helps to just kind of hold the ring to stabilize it a little bit. 1. And everything wants to just twist and turn around right here at the beginning, so use your fingers to control it. See, this wants to flip up here. Just use your fingers to control it. Oh, hang on. Let me try that again. Okay, so, and through. Just controlling it the best I can. That's 3. 4. You can also do the method that says in the pattern. It's perfectly fine. 5, 6. I feel like this magic circle closes up a little tighter. 7, but whatever you like is better. 8. 9. 10. 'Now let me show you something. I'm almost running out of tail here, and I have to have a piece of tail to be able to pull on. So let me just slide my double crochets down a little bit so I have a little more room to crochet over that tail. This is, I think, 11. You know, counting and talking at the same time is sometimes dangerous. Pretty sure it's 11, but we'll double check. 12. And 13. Again, it feels a little awkward at first, but you know, it feels a little awkward doing all those 13 double crochets into a tiny little chain too, so. Oh, hang on. Last one. 13, 13, and 13. All right, let me just double check. There's my chain 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so we're going to join with a slip stitch in the 3rd chain of the beginning of the chain 3. So I'm going to join way over here, but it looks kind of big right now, right? So I'm going to take my tail and I'm going to hold on to the stitches here, and I'm going to pull. And you see how that's just tightening up? It's going to close that circle right up. I put my thumb and my index finger right over the center and just give it a good pull. See how tight it gets? So now I can easily join with a slip stitch right over here to the top of the chain 3. So I'm just going to go through and do a slip stitch. Okay, there's our beginning. Round 1. All right, round 2. We're going to chain 1. And we're going to single crochet in the same stitch. So right here in the same one, single crochet. And now we're going to chain 1 and single crochet in the next stitch. We're going to do that 13 times. Chain 1 and single crochet in the next stitch. Chain 1, single crochet in the next. So we're doing an increase here. Chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1. So you're going to continue all the way around. Be right back. Okay, so I've gone all the way around. I did chain 1 and single crochet all the way around. You did it 13 times. So we should have 26 stitches if you want to count. I just counted. I do have 26 stitches going around, and that is the end of round 2. I'm going to join with a slip stitch into the beginning chain. Now the reason we're doing that is because we're ending each row. We're not continuing in a spiral. So we're actually ending the row, and then we go ahead and chain and continue the next row up above. So we're on round 3. Slip stitch into the next chain 1 space. So here, if you look and see, here's my single crochets and the chain 1 space right in between them. Kind of hard to see. Okay, now we're going to chain 3, and we're going to put a double crochet in the same space, so right to where we just were. And then we're going to chain 1 and put 2 double crochets into each of the next 13 chain 1 spaces. So got to find those chain 1 spaces. Don't be afraid to pull this apart and see if you can see what you're looking at here. But we've got our single crochets in the row below. Remember, in between each one is a chain 1 space. So like right there is a chain 1 space right in between them. Here's the chain 1 space I was just in. Here's the single crochet, and then there's the chain 1 space right after it. So I'm going to put 2 double crochets into each chain 1 space. 13 times around. Okay. Go to the next chain 1 space. And it's a little tight and small in there, but if you're having trouble identifying that chain 1 space, just know that it's going to be after each single crochet. So you look down and identify your single crochet, and then just put 2 double crochets in between each single on the row below. 2 right in the same spot. Okay, go ahead and continue that around. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So the end of round 3, you've put 2 double crochets into each of the next 13 chain 1 spaces. That chain that we started with at the beginning and the 1 double crochet counts as 1. So we have a total of 14 pairs of double crochets going around our round 3. So we're going to go ahead and join with the slip stitch in the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 3, and then finish off. So what that means is we're then going to cut our yarn because we're switching colors. Get that in there. Slip stitch, and then we're going to cut and pull it through. All right, so we just fastened off round 4. Join the next color with single crochet in any chain 1 space. So I think for my next color, I'm going to use this one. And to join a new color, I'm going to find the space here, and I'm going to just put my hook through, and I'm going to loop the yarn over my hook. You may have a different way of joining a new color. This is just how I do it. I use both my tail and the working yarn to make the first chain, and then I drop the tail. So that's how I attach it. All right, single crochet in any space, and we're supposed to chain 4. So I just chained 1 with both my tail and my working yarn. So 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to single crochet in the next chain 1 space. So it's going to be in between the clusters of double crochets. So we're going to single crochet right here. And now you see it's in parentheses, so we're going to repeat that again. We're going to chain 4. And then we're going to chain a single crochet right into that next space between the clusters. Chain 4. I'll show you just a moment what this is starting to look like. Chain 4. And then single crochet right after that next cluster of 2 double crochets. So this is what we're ending up with now, is we're getting this little loop of chains coming out. This is what we're going to do with that, is we're going to be crocheting over that chain, and it's going to form this section right here. You see that in the pattern? Right here. So that's what we're forming right now, is the foundation of what's going to be crocheted right over the top of that. So chain 4, and then single crochet right into the next spot, all the way around. Now this pattern is a little confusing because on the round before, it didn't tell you to put a chain one in between each of those 2 double crochets. There's no parentheses in the pattern. I believe it probably means for you to do a chain 1, but in this case it doesn't really matter. What it's telling you in round 4 to put the single crochet in the next chain 1 space. All I'm doing is I'm single crocheting into the space between the cluster of 2 double crochets, and that works out just fine. So either way, 2, 3, 4. So in round 3, you can choose to put a single crochet in between each of those 2 double crochets, or you don't have to. I don't think the pattern was especially clear on that point, but this is how I chose to do it. So 4, starting to look like a little flower, isn't it? 4, there's my 2 double crochets, so I'm going to go right into the space after it, do a single crochet, chain 4, single crochet, chain 4, single crochet, chain 4, single crochet, chain 4, almost to the end, single crochet. All right, now see here I've got a single crochet already after this group of 2, and I've got a single crochet before it. So let's see what it says here. Chain 4, join with a slip stitch in the beginning single crochet. So I'm going to chain 4 to span this last little bit, and then I'm just going to slip stitch to the first single crochet here. And that's what that looks like. Round 5. Round 5, we are going to slip stitch into the chain 4 space. So right in here, there's our chain 4 space. So we're going to slip stitch right into there. And then we're going to chain 1. And in that same spot, the pattern has parentheses around this, so we're going to do 2 single crochets, chain 2, and 2 single crochets right in this same spot where I just slip stitch. So 2 single crochets, there's 1 and 2. I'm just going in the same spot, and now I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to put 2 single crochets back in that same spot again. And single crochet. So there's our little top beginning to form there over our chain 4 space. So we're going to 2 single crochets, chain 2, and 2 single crochets in each of the next chain 4 spaces. So all of every space right here and here and here, we're going to put 2 single crochets, chain 2, and 2 single crochets in each one of those. So we'll go 2 singles, 2 chains, and then 2 singles right back in that same spot. Okay, now I go to the next one. 2 singles, 2 chains, and 2 singles right back in that same spot. You're going to continue that all the way around. Be right back. Okay, we've just finished round 5, and I've joined with a slip stitch in the beginning single crochet. So let's go on to round 6. Round 6 tells us to slip stitch in the next single crochet and into the chain 2 space. So right here I've got some single crochets, and then here's my chain 2 space right up here. So we're going to slip stitch into this next single crochet, and then we're going to slip stitch into the chain 2 space. All we're doing is traveling that yarn up to where we want it at the top of the peak to start that round. So now we're going to chain 3. Some is going to feel familiar to you, and we're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets in the same space. So I'm up at the top of a peak here. So I'll do 2 double crochets. The reason we start with 2 is because that chain 3 counts as one of the double crochets. So there's 2. Get my yarn out of the way here. Now we're going to chain 2 and do 3 double crochets. So it will have the appearance of 3 doubles, 2 chains, and 3 doubles. I'll show you that. Here you are. Because that initial chain 3 looked like a double. Okay, so now we're going to 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochets in each of the next 13 chain 2 spaces. So what we're going to be doing is going around and hitting the top of each of these peaks. And we're going to be putting 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets in each of them. And then we'll come back around. Be right back. Okay, I've just completed round 6. As you can see, here's all those clusters of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets all the way around. So the very end of round 6 says to slip stitch in the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 3. So that's going to be right here, 2, 3. So I'm going to slip stitch right into that 3rd chain. And then it says to finish off, which means to go ahead and cut your yarn and pull it through. Now we're going to change colors on round 7. So for round 7, join next color, and I'm going to use this beige color. And we're going to join the next color with a single crochet in any chain 2 space. So here's where I finished off. So I'm just going to pick this chain 2 space, this peak. And remember I said this is how I join my colors. You may have another way to do it. But I loop my yarn over the hook, pull it through, and then I do 1 chain with both the tail and the working yarn. Then I drop the tail. So it tells us to chain 2. So I've already chained 1 in my joining. I'll chain 1 more. And then we're going to skip 3 double crochets, double crochet between double crochet stitches. So I'm going to skip 3 double crochets, which is these 3 right here. And here's where I'm going to double crochet between the double crochet stitches, right in here, kind of at the valley. So we're going to do a double crochet there to attach it. And then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to skip 3 double crochets, do a single crochet in the next chain 2 space. And we're going to repeat that around 13 times. So we're going to chain 2, skip these 3 double crochets and do a double crochet down in the valley. And then chain 2, skip these 3 double crochets and do a single crochet at the peak in the chain 2 space. All the way around. So chain 2, double crochet down in the valley, chain 2, single crochet up at this peak. Chain 2, double crochet in the valley, chain 2, single crochet up at the peak. Go ahead and continue that all the way around. We'll be right back to show you how that looks. All right, at the end of that round, round 7, it tells you to chain 2, skip 3 double crochets, double crochet in the chain between the spaces, chain 2, skip 3 double crochets, and then instead of doing a single crochet up at this peak, because we already did that when we started the round, we're going to slip stitch into that single crochet there. So we're just going to slip stitch to close off our round, just like that. So what we've made here is a foundation with these chains going around that's going to hold what happens on the next round. So let's go on to round 8. So we're going to slip stitch into the chain 2 space. So it's right here, right next to where we're at. Just slip stitch again. That's just to travel the yarn over to where we want it. And now we're going to chain 4. And we're going to do 2 trebles, chain 3, and 3 trebles in this same space. So to treble crochet, you're wrapping twice. Yarn over, coming through, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. That's 1 treble. We're going to do another one of those because we're doing 2 of them. And then we're going to chain 3. And now we're going to put 3 more trebles in that same spot. Remember, wrap your yarn twice. And then through 2, through 2, through 2. That was 1. Here's number 2. And here's number 3. Okay, then it tells us there's a little hashtag mark and an asterisk. That's because the repeats are going to change here. It's okay, just take it one step at a time. We're going to do 3 double crochets in the next chain 2 space. That's right here, right next to it. Remember we did the chain 2s in between the doubles and the singles? So we're going to put 3 double crochets in this chain 2 space. There's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to put 3 half double crochets in the next chain 2 space. So right here. Half double is you yarn over and go through like you're going to do the double crochet, but instead of pulling through 2, you go through all 3. And we're putting 3 of them there. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to 2 single crochets in the next chain 2 space. That's right here. 2 singles. We're going to chain 1 and then put 2 singles in the next chain 2 space. That's right here again. So 2 singles. It seems like a lot. Just take it one step at a time. You'll be fine. Now we're going to put 3 half doubles in the next chain 2 space. Remember, a half double, you yarn over, go in like you're going to do a double crochet, but when you get to this spot, you pull through all 3. We're putting 3 of them there. There's 2, and there's 3. And now we're going to put 3 doubles in the next chain 2 space. That's right here. 3 doubles. Now just a minute, I'll show you what we're doing here. What we're doing on this round is we're turning our circle into a square. You see how we're making some points here on the ends? Here's the finished one. So here's the circle where we're at. That's the blue on this one. And now when you start the green, we're starting to turn it into a square. So that's what this round is doing. All right, so now we just put 3 half doubles in the next chain 2 space, and we will put 3 doubles in the next chain 2 space. That's going to be right here. So we'll go 3 doubles. Oh, that's what we just did, sorry. Okay, so now there's an asterisk, and so now we 3 trebles, chain 3, 3 trebles in the next chain 2 space. That's going to be our next corner. Remember the trebles were over here forming the corner? So we're going to put 3 trebles. Oops, didn't wrap twice. Two and 3, and then a chain 3, and then 3 trebles again, and that's forming our corner. Two and 3. So now it's telling us to repeat from that hashtag twice. The hashtag got us all the way from here after we did the trebles. Remember at the very beginning of this square, we had the 2 trebles, chain 3, 3 trebles, and then the hashtag started. And so that hashtag took us all the way across here. So we're going to repeat that twice. Here we've done our trebles, so it starts here. Going to go down here and down here. And then from the star, once, star to star. So that is the 3 double crochets all the way up to, but not including the last 3 trebles. Let me work part of it, some of these 2 sides, and then I'll show you where it's at after that. So I'm starting at repeating from the hashtag again, down this side and across the other side. So that means 3 double crochets in the next chain 2 space. Get you started, and then we'll come back at the end. 3 doubles, and then 3 half doubles in the next chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 singles in the next chain 2 space. So see what we're doing is we're doing shorter and shorter stitches because this is the widest part of our circle. And now we're going to chain 1 and 2 singles in this next space. 3 half doubles, because now we're going back to the corner again. There's 1, 2, and 3. and then 3 doubles in this next chain 2 space. We need taller and taller stitches as we get towards the corner. Okay, and now we're at the corner again, so we're going to do 3 trebles, chain 3, 3 trebles. There's 2, 3, chain 3, and 3 trebles. So we get that nice corner. Oops, messed that one up. Let me start that one again. This is my second treble. There we go. Okay, so there's our corner, the 3 trebles, the chain 3, and the 3 trebles. And now we're repeating from the hashtag again. So we're back to 3 double crochets in the next chain 2 space. Here. Three half doubles in the next chain 2 space. Half double, we pull through all 3. And 3. Then we're going to do 2 single crochets in the next space. Chain 1 and 2 singles in the next space. That's the very side of our square, the widest point of the circle. Now 3 half doubles, because we're working towards corner again. So we have to do a stitch that's a little bit taller. And then 3 doubles in this next space. And you can probably tell now we're back at our corner again. So what we've just done is we've repeated from the hashtag twice, which is what it says towards the end of the directions for round 8. Now we're going to repeat from the star to the star once. So the star starts at the same place the hashtag does. 3 double crochets in the next chain 2 space. Okay, so now we're at our corner again. So we're doing our 3 trebles. One more. And now our chain 3 and 3 trebles again. And that's going to complete our repeating from the hashtag twice. We're at that last, we finished the last corner, and now we just have to do this last edge. So even though it seems a little confusing, repeat to hashtag, and now from the star to the star, really what we're doing is everything in between the 2 groups of trebles on the corners. That's all we have to do to finish off this square. So the star that we're supposed to repeat from is up by the hashtag. So it's 3 double crochets in the next chain 2 space. Remember, now we're going down in size for our stitches from the trebles. We're going down to doubles. And now we're going to do 3 half doubles. Two and 3. And then you probably already remember, oops, it's singles, 2 singles in the next space, a chain 1 and 2 singles. Then it's going to be 3 half doubles. And then we're going to finish that off with 3 doubles. That's the last thing right before that asterisk. There's 2 and 3. join with a slip stitch in the 4th chain of the beginning chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to join and a slip stitch right here. And so here is our completed round 8. Our circle is now turned into a square. We've got row 9, 10, and 11 is all we have left. Be right back for that. Okay, so now we're ready to start round 9. First thing we're going to do, according to the pattern, is we're going to slip stitch into the next treble, 2 trebles, and into the chain 2 space. Now remember, we've done this before, and that's just to travel the yarn across to get to where we want to start our pattern. So here's our next 2 treble stitches. So I'm just going to slip stitch into the first one and slip stitch into the second one, and then slip stitch into the chain 2 space. Then it tells me chain 3. So here's where we're beginning our round. So those slip stitches were just to travel to get to where we wanted to start our round. Chain 3, and now we're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets in this same space right here, right on the corner. 2 doubles, chain 2, and 3 doubles. Remember, we're doing 2 and then 3 because that chain 3 acts as part of the first cluster of doubles. I'll show you that again in just a minute here. So it looks like 2 clusters of 3 doubles because our chain 3 counts as one of them. So chain 3, 2 doubles, chains, and then 3 doubles. Okay, now there's that hashtag sign again, so we're going to be repeating this section, whatever's being shown after the hashtag. We're going to double crochet in the next 11 stitches. So let's look across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's going to bring us to the middle. So we're going to double crochet in each of those next 11. Sometimes when there's a big amount like that to crochet into, I like to just take a look at it, see where I'm supposed to land, so that I think it makes sense, just to make sure I'm not off anywhere. All right, so there was, of course, then I'm talking and not counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the advantage is I know where the target is. I know where I'm heading. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 is going to go right in here. Oops, that was a single. Should be a double. Okay, and now we're going to double crochet in the chain 1 space, which is right here. Can you see that? There's your chain 1 space right in the middle. We're going to do a double crochet in there. Hang on, got to check this. Okay, all is well. I was just looking at something funny. All right, so now we're going to double crochet into this chain 1 space right here in the middle. And then we're going to double crochet in the next 11 stitches, and that's going to bring us over here to the corner again. So if you ever are wanting to double check, you can always look over here and go, okay, here's the corner. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And that is correct. So this is where my first of 11 goes. So we're just doing 11 double crochets again across the other half of this side. 3, 4, 5, and that's going to bring us over to the corner again, where we're going to do the trebles, or the doubles, sorry, and the chain 2s. We'll just wait till we get there. I'll tell you what we're going to do. This one is doubles, not trebles. I think I said trebles earlier, but that's all right. You know what I mean. Okay, so we're doing our 11 double crochets across. This should be 10, and here is 11. And now the pattern tells us to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the corner. So that's where we're at, is the corner. So we'll do 3 doubles. Chain 2, and 3 doubles. So now is where the pattern is going to tell us to repeat. And it's going to tell us to repeat from the hashtag twice, and then from this star once. Now, just like the prior round, we're going to repeat from the hashtag, which is going to get us here all the way to here, right? The hashtag started right before your double crochet in the next 11 stitches. So it started after this corner right here. So the hashtag started here, and it takes us all the way through the next corner. So we're going to do that 2 more times. Going to get us here to the corner, get us here to the corner, and then it tells you to repeat just from the star to the star, and essentially that's the 11, the double crochet in the chain 1 space, and the 11. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and we'll come back at the end and see how that looks. I wanted to show you something here. After you do your corner, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and you get ready to start on any of the sides to go across and do 11, and then 1 in the chain space and 11. I just wanted to point out to you, the very first stitch you're going to go into could be a little hard to find, and it might be trying to hide. So pull your double crochets in the corner back a little bit, and you can see this stitch right here. You see that? It's right there. If I don't pull those back, the 3 double crochets from the corner can kind of cover it up and make it look like this is the first stitch you go into, where actually it's not. This is the one. So this will be the first of your 11. Just keep an eye on that and you'll be fine. All right, I'm on my last side now. I'm going between the star to star, doing my 11 across of double crochets, and then a double crochet in the chain 1 space, and then 11 more across. What I wanted to point out to you is once you get going with this, you can see that you don't really need to be hung up by repeating what's between the hashtags and what's between the stars. You just know that your corner edges are going to have 3 double crochets, 2 chains, and 3 double crochets. And across each of the 4 sides of your square, you're essentially going to have 23 double crochets. You're going to have 11 on each side into double crochets, and 1 in the middle that's into the chain 1 space. But as long as you have 23 double crochets across the edges, the sides, and each corner has 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and a 3 double crochet, you're golden. So it's one of those cases where you don't have to get caught up in trying to figure out the pattern and read exactly between the different hashtags and what you're repeating. Just kind of think through about what it's supposed to look like in the end, and sometimes that can help you just kind of do it with logic. So almost to the end here. Then we will slip stitch to close off this round, and we'll start on round 10. Two more. All right, and last double crochet of my 11. So now it tells us to join with a slip stitch in the 3rd chain of the beginning chain. So that's familiar. We've been doing that all along. So here's my chain 3 at the beginning, and I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that, and that will close off round 9. Here's what it's looking like. It'll lay nice and flat once I block it. All right, let's go to round 10. Round 10 is this round right here on my completed sample that has this open work along the edge. You see that? And that's going to be caused by skipping in between double crochets. So let's see what that looks like while we're doing it. Round 10, just as we've been doing, they want us to slip stitch in the next 2 double crochets and into the chain 2 space. So that will travel our yarn from this edge that's just off the corner and bring it to the corner. So we're going to slip stitch into the next 2 double crochets. Just pull it through, and the next one, and then we're going to slip stitch into the chain 2 space right here. All right, maybe, there we go. Okay, then we're supposed to chain 3, as we have most of our rounds, right? Chain 3, and we're going to double crochet, chain 2, and do 2 double crochets in this corner. So we're going to do 1 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Once again, with that beginning chain 3 acting as a double crochet, we've got 2, chain 2, and 2. All right, so now we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip the next double crochet and double crochet in the next one. So here I'm going to skip this one here, and I'm going to double crochet in the next one. We're going to do that repeat 14 times. And that repeat is chain 1, skip a double crochet, and double crochet in the next one. Chain 1, skip a double crochet, and double crochet in the next one. Chain 1, skip a double crochet there, and double crochet into the next one. So that's forming that open work on the edge of the square. Chain 1, don't forget that. Skip a double crochet and double crochet in the next one. So right now I've done that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. This is 6. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. 7. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. This is 8. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet is 9. And carry on to 14. There's 10. 11, 12, 13, and 14. And you'll see this has now brought us over to our next corner. So here we are at the corner again. Then the pattern says to chain 1, skip the next double crochet, which is right here, and then we're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets in the corner. 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Now again, we're going to repeat from the hashtag twice. So the hashtag started with the chain 1, skip 1 double crochet in the next. You can do that 14 times all the way across. Then you're going to do your cluster of 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Then you're going to do your chain 1, skip a double crochet in the next. Do that all the way across the side. Do your corner cluster with the 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. And then at the end, it says to go from the star to star once. So then we're going just between the 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and then all across this last side where you're chain 1, skipping a double crochet and double crocheting in the next. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back and we'll slip stitch to join the end of round 10. All right, I'm at the end of round 10, and again we're going to join with a slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the beginning 3 chain sequence. Just go right into there and slip stitch to close off that round. All right, before I start round 11, I just want to point out that this is about the time that you could assess the size of your square. As I've mentioned, I'm going for about 9 inches for my squares. Your squares might be smaller or larger. It doesn't matter. Whatever the size your first square was is your target for your remaining squares, so that they'll all be uniform. So at this point, if you decide that your square is the right size, then you can stop at this point. You could just do a row of single crochet around the edges. If you decide that your square is too small and you need some extra rounds, you could do an extra round 10 to have another row of that open work. You could do 2 rows of rounds 11. So whatever you need to do to make your square the right size for your blanket so that it matches up with your other squares is fine. All right, so let's start round 11. We're going to slip stitch in the next double crochet and then into the chain 2 space to move that yarn along to where we want it. So now we're in the corner. We're going to chain 3, and we're going to double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in the same space. So it's the same corner treatment we had on the last round. 2 double crochet, or 2 chains, and now 2 double crochets. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to straight double crochet in each chain 1 space and each double crochet across. So we're going to put a double crochet in every stitch across the top. And in every chain 1 space. So here I have a chain 1 space. I've just double crocheted there in the double crochet, and now I've got a chain 1 space. So rather than try to go into the chain, I'm just going down into the space and putting a double crochet there. And now I'll double crochet into this stitch here. And then I'll put one in this chain 1 space just by going into the space. Double crochet here in this stitch. And then into the chain 1 space. Double crochet into the stitch. And double crochet into the space. We're going to continue that across, and when we get over here to the corner again, we're going to do our 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Then we're going to do a double crochet in each stitch and chain 1 space across here. Do the corner treatment here, then do your double crochet in each stitch and chain 1 space down the side, your corner treatment, then the double crochet in each stitch and chain 1 space here, and slip stitch to the end. That's all it is for round 11. So I'm going to do that and then come back and show you what it looks like at the end. All right, my square is done. I've completed round 11. I've decided that that's a good size for me, so I'm not going to do any additional rounds on the outside of this. If you wanted to do more, again, you could just repeat row 10 or 11 or both, depending on how much size you need extra. All right, before we end, I just want to talk for a minute about color. I've shown this square in 3 colors. This would also be really pretty in 2 colors. You could do the center and the outside edge the same. You could also do it in 4 colors if you wanted, 1, 2, 3, and then maybe this open edge and rows 10 and 11 in another color. But you know, I think also if you happen to be doing a monochromatic square, this could be equally as pretty in 1 color. It's got enough texture and open area and things going on that a 1 color square like this would also be pretty. You wouldn't have the flower look like this. It would have a slightly different look, but it could also be pretty. So you can do whatever you want to do with this. Make it work with your colors. I look forward to seeing them. As always, if you have any questions or problems, send me an email, give me a call, or come in the shop. Looking forward to seeing you. Bye.